What's up, friends? My name is Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Sunday. What is it? Rip Squeak Sunday? Rip Squeak Sunday. That's what. Is that it? Rip Squeak Sunday. We're going with that. Even if I type something different in, that's what we're going with. Q&A. This is a Q&A live stream, so fill the chat up with any questions that you've got, and we'll talk through them. We're going to take a look at Friday's live stream, and we're going to work through any comments that were left there. If you're not able to watch these streams live and you watch them on replay, leave a comment with a question, and we'll talk about it in the next live stream so that you can be a part of it. So we're going to do that for sure. And we're going to take a look at a tale of two Rip Squeaks. I slammed a Rip Squeak harder than I think I ever have before. And I managed to break an M3 titanium screw head off. So that'll be interesting. Completely destroyed one of the arms. It was one of the thinner arms. It was one of the 2.5 millimeter thick arms. So not super shocked that I broke one of the arms, but on this hard of a hit. I also broke the little sandwich plate on the bottom, which is kind of crazy. And I don't think I have any extras of those, which is kind of annoying. So I'm going to have to, like, I'm gonna have to like rob one of the other Rip Squeaks or something like that. I don't know. I gotta find another one of those little sandwich plates. Thanks for coming, friends that are here. Juju Diaz's RC Things was first. Kevin Sumner, Apache Smoke Wooded Sniper, Bulldog FPV Riot 9, Kevin Sumner again, Espander, Northern Tier, Frank Nicholas, Riot 9 again, Northern Tier, Spander, Chopper FPV, Apache again, Flush FPV, Ed K, Cheesehead, Mr. Blue Sky. If you want the gangly man to read your name, come into the chat early, say something. We're also going to unbox a little package that was sent to me by Great Southern FPV. So we got some unboxing stuff, we got some repairs. Hey, we're also going to do a quick frame swap on one of these Tinylifters, and I'm going to show you guys how I strengthen the Cockroach 75 frames. Basically, you drill out the little flight controller mounting posts so that you can use these longer screws. The reason why that's important on the Tinylifters is you've got this Insta360 Go 2 26 gram donkey all the way up high, so when that thing gets hit, it really cranks on the canopy. So you got to make sure that the 3 canopy mounts are really solid, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well while we're swapping the frame out. So yeah, we got a bunch of shit going on today. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange, and I'll know that you're talking to me. You can also do a super chat if you want to support the madness that is trying to be a full-time FPV weeb. This is my full-time job. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com for a million ways you can support me. Patreon helps me out the most. For a few dollars a month, you can get on there and get a ton of benefits. Full access to my Discord channel with the stick end fund, so you can rent out a box that has one of every stick end. By the way, on the little intro there, that was the 1504 Rip Squeak with the discontinued 1504 3900 kV motors with a GNB 4S 850, and I think the propellers that were on there were 2540s. I think they were the Gemfan 2540s. I was playing around with I've been playing around with like the float, like dialing in the amount of float versus throw on some of these Rip Squeaks. Let me really quickly go back here. I just want to take a look at how quickly it falls out of the sky, because that's how I'm usually able to tell. These are clear propellers. I can see that in the bottom right and left. Yeah, it comes down pretty good. I'm trying to basically balance propellers that give me the thrust that I want, but also the amount of throw, and also the amount of float. And it's tough. Like with the different motors, like they're different KVs, and so like as you go down in propeller size, if you don't have enough KV, so these are the 1504s, they're 3900 kV. That's a good KV. So you see that this is a perfect example right here. So this is a big full throttle throw. That's a lot of full throttle. All right, like that's a big chunk of. Let me turn it up so you can hear it. Ready? So that's a good amount of, that's timing wise, that's a long period of time that I was at full throttle, and it just barely got up over the trees. So these propellers, for example, are, for me at least, not thrusty enough on these 3900 kV motors. These propellers, again, Gemfan 2540s, 2540, these would be much better suited with a higher KV motor. That being said, when I look at like that float, so like that little bit of that floatiness right here, right? Coming down, zero throttle. I do like this float here, and then I also like this amount of throw. See that? See how it comes up over the trees? So let's see where we threw it from. So I threw it from down here. Full throttle, full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. it carries really nice. See how it's got like that nice momentum and it carries up over the trees? So if I were to put like a 3-inch or a 3.5-inch propeller on this rig, I wouldn't get that amount of throw, and I would get more float, which I don't necessarily want, but I would also get more power. So in trying to dial these rigs, in trying to dial these Rip Squeaks in to get them flying as close flight dynamics wise as possible to 5-inch rigs, this is what I'm trying to figure out. I want to have the same amount of power as a 5-inch rig, similar amount of... I'm never going to get the similar amount of throw. They're just too light. 250 grams versus 600 plus grams. It's just never gonna work. Here's another really good example of power and throw. Huge amount of full throttle to generate that much upwards momentum. Way too much. Way too long of a weight required on the full throttle. But good amount of float, man. Like that coming down like that. I feel like that's about as close to what you would get with a 5-inch rig in terms of how fast / slow it comes down out of the air. So that's super interesting because the rig that I blew up, so that's the rig on 1504s. Here, hold on. Let's talk actual weights. Let's dig into this. We're gonna get caught up on chat in a minute here, but let's just dive straight into this. So that was this rig here. These are not the props that were on it. After that flight, when I realized that there wasn't enough power, I switched it from the 2540s, which are the highest pitch of the 2.5-inch props, over to the highest pitch 3-inch T-mount props, which are the Gemfan 3052s, 3052. And I flew it in the dark on these, and I couldn't really tell anything. But this rig, minus like 1 gram, let's say, for those lighter 2.5-inch props, we're at 151 dry, and then the batteries that I usually fly on it, to be honest with you guys, realistically, this is the best battery for it. The GNB 700, 4S700. With this battery, it comes in at 239 grams. But I think when I was flying it in that video, it was a 4S850, and that puts it at 254.2 grams. It looks like the camera lens. I was wondering why it was so kind of blurry. Looks like this camera lens is filthy. So let's talk dry weights, though, because I want to compare this one rig to the other. So this guy here with the 1504s, dry weight of 136 and a fraction, but 136, it's fine. Versus this guy has the 1404s. What did I just say? 136, right? Oh, come on. Come on, stay on there. There we go. 114. So this guy is roughly 20 grams lighter, mainly because of the motors. The one that you were just watching is on 1504s, which are kind of heavy, and there's Zing 1504s. Zing motors are typically a little bit heavier. And then this guy here with the broken arm is on Axis 1404s, but they're a higher KV. So they're much better suited to the 2.5-inch props. These are 4510 KV, 4510. When this thing blew up, it was on these Emax Avan 2.5-inch props, and they were okay. They definitely did not have the power that those 2540s did. So I think this rig here, which is the first one that we're going to fix, I think this rig on the Gemfan 2540 propellers with these 1404, what are they again? 4500-ish kV motors, I think this might be the jam. I think this might be the formula for these Rip Squeaks that have this is the V1 Rip Squeak frame, which works perfectly with the RunCam hybrid on board. And yeah, this is this is arguably the best 3-inch freestyle combo that's sub 250. So yeah, I'm going to get that back up and running. This thing, as you can see, it still flies, but the ESC is dropping an arm more and more frequently. So I'm not gonna get this thing like out in front of the house, man. Those trees, if I put one of these little 3-inch rigs into the top of one of those trees, it might never come down. So I'm gonna get this ESC out of here and swap it out for one that's gonna behave a little bit better. If you baby it, it's fine. Like, if you baby that ESC, it's totally fine. But as soon as you start hammering on full throttle, what's really interesting is you hammer full throttle for like a second or two, and then you come off of full throttle, and then it'll drop. It won't drop an arm when you are full throttle. It does it like afterwards, almost like the FETs are heating up. And then when it goes to get into some kind of braking, like when I go 0 throttle and the PID loop comes on, if it's trying to brake the motor all the way down, it's almost like the FETs can't handle that, and that's when they're letting go. Really weird. Can't say I've ever experienced that before. So I'm not gonna throw the ESC away that's on there, because I guess there's maybe a chance it's something else. I'm gonna put it in a bag that says potentially bad. And replace it, and we'll see if the problem goes away. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going on. So, yeah, but I'm really interested to get this guy over here back up with these 1404s, because what I think that I'm finding is that these 1504s and the 1505s and maybe even the 1306s, we don't have the right propeller for those bigger motors. And yeah, I don't know. We just don't have a durable. Hey, Terry, thank you for the super chat, my man. I'll read your comment in a minute here. The 2.5-inch prop selection is better. And after kind of looking at that, and so the smaller propellers, the 2.5-inch versus 3-inch propeller at 250 grams, what that's going to do is it's not going to float as much, and it's going to carry more. The smaller propellers are a smaller parachute. So whenever we're off throttle horizontally, a 2.5 propeller versus a 3-inch propeller is going to travel more, like a big heavy 5-inch rig, right? It's also going to come down out of the sky quicker. So when you chop the throttle, it's not going to have that like toothpick, I'm kind of parachuting down forever float. And that, yeah, again, that's what I'm most interested in, because that's the biggest part of the adjustment period for me between the Rip Squeaks and the glides, is the momentum they carry and that the timing of them coming down out of the sky. So yeah, we'll see. It's also nice that this rig is under 250 grams, even with a big-ass 4S 850 battery. And the bigger battery, the bigger, heavier battery, helps with the carry. So, yeah, it's a hell of a mix. And the like I said before, so the end of that thought about the bigger motors is that these 1504s, 1505s, 1306s, they're not a high enough kV. We need more than 4,000 kV, and all of those motors are 3,900 or 4,000 kV. We need these 4,500 or even 5,000 kV motors. One of the things I loved most about the old school RCX 1304s is they were 5,000 kV. 5,000 kV on 4S with a 2.5-inch prop is amazing. You're going to see some stuff coming up with that combo. 1304, I think, is a little bit too small for these Rip Squeaks. I think that's more of a motor for like 220 grams all up weight, 210 grams all up weight. So yeah, I like the 1404s a lot more. These Axis 1404s are pretty damn good. They're a little notchy, but it doesn't seem to. I haven't seen any jello. I haven't flown it in the middle of the day yet, but I haven't seen any jello. So yeah, just, you guys know, continuing to refine the whole 3-inch freestyle thing as we do. Apache Smoke says, good evening, what's up, hello collective, hello everyone doing. Bulldog says, squeaky Sunday. I'm still bashing the shit out of my 3-inch Squeak and loving it. They're really just so good. Ed K's in the house. He says, CiottiFPV and Collective, happy Sunday. YouTube just did the thing. Juju says, hope those ESCs aren't expensive. All these ESCs are pre-meltdown pricing, luckily. I just have a lot of ESCs kicking around. I noticed on this guy that slammed really hard over here that I'm not getting ESC tones, and it looks like everything is still plugged in. So I'm pretty sure that ESC blew up, which is just super sad. But gotta pay to play. You gots to. It's the only way. CH3 says, Yo-Yo, CiottiFPV and Collective sent you DM on Instagram with my reel, some of small mountain dives. Very cool, CH3. I took a quick look, but admittedly I was in a super hurry this morning to try to get ready and get an actual shower so I don't smell like hell. Maggie's coming home today. I'm super excited. I'm going to pick her up from the airport at like 7-ish. Kids are actually coming with me. It's going to be fun. Little family trip. Maybe we'll get some dinner. So yeah, tonight will be great. I've been very lonely without her, although Felix hangs out with me a good amount. But I've been shocked at how lonely I've been with just the kids in the house. Also shocked at how much she really does. It's a, you know, this is the first time I've lived with kids, and Maggie does a ton. And it's pretty eye-opening to see how much she actually does behind the scenes. I've known that, but to like live it is just like, okay, respect. Kevin Sumner says, you missed an opportunity to call this Smashed Squeak Sunday. Kevin Sumner dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, brother. Blizzard FPV with a 50 Canadian dollar super chat. He says, Rip Squeak frame giveaway. What's that mean, Blizzard? Are we doing a Rip Squeak frame Hold on. What's going on with Bob's site? I haven't heard back from Bob in a long time. So the website is bqe.io. And let me take a look here. So all of these rigs that that I've been playing footage from are the V1 Rip Squeak, which he's calling the Rip Squeak OG. If you're gonna do the RunCam hybrid thing, this little area here in between the front standoffs and the way that this top plate is cut off is perfect for the RunCam hybrid. The V2 Rip Squeak, this opening is much smaller and it just doesn't work as good. The OG Rip Squeak is what you want to do for a Vista build or an Insta360 Go 2 build, which is what I've done with mine. Because it's that the cutout in the top of the top plate is much better set up for like a regular old FPV camera. So if you plan on hauling around an Insta360 Go 2, the Rip Squeak V2 frame is a really good option for you. I've got the rear mount here as well as the front mount on this one. And this guy is on big ass 1505s. The thing you want to also, the other thing that's kind of cool about this V2 frame is it's a little tiny bit bigger, so it makes it a little bit easier to swing 3.5-inch props. The 3-inch Rip Squeaks will swing 3.5-inch props if you have the right TPU on the standoffs. You can't have big, thick TPU on the standoffs, or you won't be able to clear 3.5-inch props. The Insta360 Go 2 is a 26-gram camera. With that camera and a mount, this thing is going to be 260, 270, 280 grams. So, on this kind of a build, this is where those bigger motors do kind of make sense. This one is on Toka 1505s, Mamba Toka 1505s. You've got the extra weight, 4S850 batteries for sure. And yeah, really, really, really fun combo. These mounts were made by McConnell Studios. At some point, these are going to be available for you. But this is going to be good. But the problem with this build, again, is that we don't have great prop selections. These are my current favorite props, and they're actually a Tinywhoop prop. This is the HQ. I have to look. This is the HQ D-T76. It's basically their 3-blade Tinywhoop T-mount propeller. This is the highest pitch, most durable 3-inch T-mount prop that we've got at the moment. So yeah, there's that. And actually, I want to try that prop on... I'm going to try that prop on the Zing 1504 rig at some point here. But, yeah, this OG Rip Squeak is the absolute jam for the onboard RunCam hybrid, which will keep you below 250, and the footage is great. The footage looks a lot like the Thumb Pro footage, but it's out of stock. Let's take a look. Let's change the arms and see if we can get it to be in stock. God damn it. All right, so, well, let's see. No, it's completely out. Damn it. Sorry to talk about shit that you can't buy, guys. I will shoot Bill. There's nothing like this. There's no frame that can run an run a RunCam hybrid like this one. Let me shoot Bill a message really quick while I'm thinking about it. There he is. All right. Just shot him a quick message. We'll see. We'll see what's up. So, yeah. That's what we're going to be working on a little bit here today. Let me get caught up on chat. Blizzard, what Rip Squeak frame giveaway, Blizzard says, with a 50 Canadian dollars. Thank you, brother. What are we doing, Blizzard? Is that, yeah. Let me know what we're doing. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me take a look at the V2. Let me take a look at the V2 real quick. See if that's in. All right. Oops, no. Not the Bandolero. Yeah, there we go. All right, the V2. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, right. Damn. Looks like the V2's out of stock. Ah, crap. All right. Well, figure something out. Thank you, Blizzard, for the kindness and the support for continuing to do this full time. I'm getting better about remembering to slide over. Hey, look, that's that sticky hand that I got from Tinywhoop. Why is that? Oh, hold on. I pointed these all upwards last night because I was getting annoyed. There we go. That's looking a little bit more purple. Oh wait, no. This is a Sunday during the daytime stream. We need to make some things. Hold on. Short lamp, black lamp, cool white. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, bring on that cool white. Corner bulb. Black lamp bottom, corner bulb glue. Where's the studio stand low? There it is. Ready? Woo! Is that better or worse? All right. Let me get caught up on chat here. Bob Noxious says, "What's up, collective? Just finished my dad's services, ready to go. Ready to get my goggles on. Rip packs in his honor later." I did not know that, Bob. I'm so sorry, brother. Jesus. I'm so sorry, man. Bob Noxious had a rough couple of months. He was super sick, and now this. Jesus. Sorry, man. Nothing really else I can say. Kevin Sumner says, which color label are those GNB 4S 850s you're running? Have you tried the new ones with the yellow flower label? I have not. I think the yellow flower label new ones are HV. These ones that I run are not HV. So this is the way it looks when you buy it from Pyrodrone. This is a 650, but you can get the exact same battery from RDQ as an 850. RDQ has like 3 packs of these 4S 850s for a really good price, which is why I run them, because I bought a whole bunch of them. But that being said, these yellow label GNBs are non-HV, and you can get them in 700 or 900. The 900 weighs exactly what these 850s weigh, and I want to say it performs a little bit better. The 700s weigh 20 grams less. The 4S 850s are 100 grams ish. I have a little piece of TPU on it, so it's usually a couple of grams heavier. 102.5. These little 700s are 87.6, so not quite 20 grams lighter, but significantly lighter and plenty of runtime. The 4S 850s on these Rip Squeaks just kind of run forever. So yeah, the 700s are a little bit of a better choice. Blizzard FPV with a $1.45 super chat. Thank you, homie. We're going to get to your comment in a minute. Tommy News says, what's up, Collective? CMYK says, yo, dude, what's up, homie? Hope you're getting settled into California. Brains Baked Bean says, is it desyncing in the logs? CiottiFPV, the arm dip. That particular rig does not have black box. Terry Burnett with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Terry, for supporting the madness. Veritas Souza says, what goggles would you recommend to work with the Mobula 6 with HD0 and Express LRS? Will the Fat Shark Dominators work? Yeah, Fat Sharks will work, but then you're going to have to buy the external module and hang it off the front. If you're going to go all the way in on HD0, you might want to look at getting the HD0 goggles. I don't know if they're out yet. I think they are. Before I forget, 661 says the T-Motor 1604s are $20 a piece. The problem with the T-Motor 1604s is there are no propellers to really take advantage of it. They're not a high enough KV. So yeah, I just don't understand those motors. The X-Nova 1804s are going to be a better choice in my opinion, but I think those are even lower KV. But yeah, Veritas, if you do Fat Sharks, you're going to have to hang the thing off the front, which is fine. But just keep that in mind. T-Motor 1604. Come on. Pacer, what are the 2 KVs? 2850 is the 1 KV, which is just way too low. And then 3800 is the other KV. So, yeah, at 3800 KV, that's a good KV. Oh, come on. That's a good KV, but the problem is it's T-mount. The X-Nova 1804 is 3500 KV, not T-mount. Yeah, these bigger, more powerful motors on T-mount become an issue because it just has the amount of power that they're making has a tendency, not on all of these motors, but on a bunch of them, to pull the bell right off the shaft. Maybe that won't happen with these, but there's really not a super great propeller to take advantage of this for 3-inch. This is more like a 3.5-inch or 4-inch motor. Really it's a 3.5-inch motor, but we don't really have a very pitchy 3.5 yet. So I love that we have another motor option. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do want to get one at some point and make sure that it's nice and smooth running. Because if it's notchy, then it can go to hell. YouTube just did the thing again. Hold on. There we go. Juju says TBS Source 1 V3 or Source 1 V5. I believe on the newest Source 1, which is the V5, they've finally moved away from the 4mm thick arms, which is a really big deal. So if that's true, definitely go with the newer Source 1. The older Source 1s were great frames, but 4mm arms make no sense. 5mm arms are the way to go for sure. So yeah, TBS Source 1 V5. Mr. Huggy says, don't you hate it when you fix and rebuild your quad and realize it's back to front? Yeah. Brandon McBean says, what? The Rip Squeak fits 3.5-inch props? It does. You need very specific TPU, though. Which one is set up for it? This one is set up for it. So you need TPU that does not obstruct the propeller from swinging really close to the front standoffs, like this. This is the Runcam hybrid mount that will work because it's cut out here to let the prop swing right past the thing. And then in the rear, you just have to make sure that you don't have any TPU in the middle. So run your Immortal T holder down low, and then run your antenna holder up high. So that the propeller. These are only 3-inch props, but yeah, the 3.5-inch prop will just barely skim that standoff. So as long as your TPU game is on, as long as your TPU is nice and tight, you're gonna be all right. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. The Rip Squeak frame, for me, in my opinion, for the flight dynamics that I'm looking for, the Rip Squeak frame doesn't really make sense on 3.5. 3.5-inch props, for me, the way I'm building these rigs, I would want that to be like 380 grams, 390 grams, and that weight is a little bit too much for the Rip Squeak arms. So the Rip Squeak frame is a perfect fit for like right on 250 grams. They're nice and durable at 250 grams. And they're not infinitely durable, as you can see by this one that was a couple grams lighter than that and still grenaded this arm. But this thing came down to concrete from like 100 feet. It was a really big dive that I hit Scraggle on the way down and it just exploded. But at 280 grams, it's going to be way, way, way worse. So yeah, I don't know. CMYK says, when are we getting that new Ciotti frame? I know the answer, just pestering. I would be more into it if I'd done the design right and if it would properly fit the Runcam hybrid. My frame, to put a hybrid in it, you're going to have to run a 30mm standoff, and I don't want that. I want a 28mm standoff. I know it's kind of insane to hem and haul over 2mm, but the battery is already up too high, and I'm not going to make that situation 2mm worse. That's what she said. Kevin Sumner says, Get FPV has Rip Squeak V2 3-inch in stock. Very good find, Kevin. Speaking of Get FPV, I have an affiliate link there. If you're buying some FPV stuff or anything on Amazon, think about your gangly buddy. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Hit my affiliate link. I have affiliate links for Amazon, Get FPV, FPV Cycle, God's website, Banggood, AliExpress, Camera Butter, and Flywoo. I think that's all of them. So yeah, when you're buying stuff online, just think about your creator buddies and hook us up. All you got to do is click the link before you check out. That's it. Super simple. Blizzard FPV with a 2 Canadian Californian dollars super chat. He says, yes, missing poster bill stickers. Yes, missing poster bill stickers. Missing poster bill stickers. I'm confused and intrigued, Blizzard. Brains McBean says, thank you for the support, Blizzard. Brains McBean says, there's a cool, I want some. What do you have against HV packs? They just don't last very long. HV packs, like, you charge them up and discharge them like 20, 30 times and they're shot. The non-HV packs, I'll cycle these fuckers 100 times, and as long as I don't over discharge them, they'll be good to go. I love that the HV packs have a little bit more milliamp crammed in for the same weight, but the durability thing is tough. What I will say is, if you're crashing a lot, you're probably going to be ruining batteries a lot. And then the fact that they're HV doesn't matter, because you're probably going to physically ruin the battery before it cycles out. Kevin Sumner says, HD0 goggles expected December. Okay, so there's no goggle yet. Thank you, guys. Eva FPV is in the house. Says, hi, Abu. How's life? Doing well. Hope you are. I know you're doing well because you're getting awesome gigs. Mr. Huggy says, I've got those T-Motor 1604s on a 3.5-inch quad. Very cool, Mr. Huggy. I'm assuming it just has gobs of power. I wish we had a higher pitch 3.5-inch prop. The really sad... Huggy, what... Hey, Huggy, do you happen to have the a set of the Emax 3.5-inch propellers? Do you happen to have a set of these Emax A-Vans? Can you put them on those motors to see if they clear? One of the problems with these, with a lot of these Emax A-Van propellers is... trying to find a picture of it. The blade profile is really aggressive here by the hub, right in here, and this part of the propeller actually drops down below the bottom of the hub, and on a lot of motors this won't work. If you have a set of these props, you might already know that. If you have a set of these props, you already know if they work. These propellers, so these are 3.5 by 2.8. So that's actually a good amount of pitch. That's enough pitch to start to take advantage of a motor as big as 1604. So yeah, if these props will clear on those motors, that'd be pretty cool. That would make that 1604 an awful lot more realistic. All that being said. Well, no, the Toka 1505 is actually having problems with the bells separating from the motor shaft. I was about to say, all that being said, the Toka 1505 is probably just as good. But, yeah, Grizz was having the problem, and I'm having the problem, too, a little bit with the Toka 1505s. It's not too bad. Like, you have to really jam on them before it starts happening. So it's not like... It's not like you fly 2 batteries and it rips the bell off the shaft. Like, it happens after 40, 50, 60 batteries, and sometimes it doesn't happen at all. But maybe that T-Motor 1604, it never happens, right? That's the goal here. Bannister Post says, I'm still rocking the X-Nova motors. You recommended a while back. Can't remember 1408, 1804, definitely 1804. Awesome motors, though, for 3 to 3.5 inch. Yeah, they're so good. Gene Lucas says, I'm feeling like crap. What's good, collective? Brandon's Big Bean says, the HV packs work great for long range for MEHs per gram, but over discharge will wreck them for capacity fast. Yeah, that's my experience with them. 661 says, I HV charge my non-HV lipos. Yeah, so does DJI. Apparently DJI overcharges. One of the ways that DJI gets so much runtime and capacity out of their batteries is they overcharge the shit out of them. Apparently they overcharge their lipos to 4.5 grams volts per cell. 4.5 volts per cell. Scary, scary, scary. P. Richard Scott's in the chat. What's up, brother? He says, what do you know about GemFan F4S props? They're okay. They're the old school props that were designed to compete with the like S3 and S4. P. Richard Scott says, F4S props are what Michael Rue Chase Quad used in a recent flight. Wow. So Michael Scott Rue chases Shelby I think his name is Shelby Vol. And they haul ass. I'm surprised he's not on a more pitchy propeller, because the F4S, well, it's not pitchy, but it's also not that pitchy. But yeah, the F4S is basically the lightweight version of the 5143.3, but with a tiny little bit less pitch, I think. Might be the same pitch. But yeah, great prop, great propeller. The S stands for strong. Patrick, the F4S is the same thing as the F4 propeller that we were looking at one night in my apartment way back when for all the bubbles after Rampage last year, I guess that would be. It's that same propeller, but the S stands for strong, as in they fixed the problem. Kevin Sumner says, when you have DJI drone money, what's another $130 for new batteries? Yeah, right. EVFPV says, F4S is slightly more aggressive than the MCK, but way lighter. I don't think I know the MCK prop. But yeah, I've run the F4S. It's a great prop. It's not quite durable enough for me. I was running them last year for a while after Rampage when they came out. And it's awesome. They compete 1-to-1 with the S4, the HQ S4. So just, yeah, yeah, great prop, just not durable enough for me, that crashes constantly because I'm a terrible pilot. Hey, speaking of terrible pilots, there's a new edit up. Hopefully you've seen it by now, but if not, over on my channel, The Florida edit is up. Port St. Joe, Florida, cinematic FPV. Go check it out in 4K. It looks way better in 4K than it did during the premiere in 1080. And for patrons, there is 10 minutes of extra footage that didn't make it into that edit that I just kind of slammed together and did some fun stuff. Like halfway through, like I turned color correction off and on and off and on and off and on and off and on so that you guys can really see the difference that color correction makes. There's even a part in there where I did picture-in-picture with the non-stabilized view. All kinds of good stuff. I just grabbed a couple of songs from the same band as the song that I used in the main edit. And yeah, so for patrons, for 10 whole cents a day, you can check out a bunch more footage and see what didn't make it into that edit. And maybe you like that kind of thing. You should. Lots of other benefits to joining the Patreon too. There's like that cutting room floor thing is in a Patreon only playlist with like 90 some odd unlisted videos, sketchy flying, Patreon only live streams, all kinds of good stuff. So go check it out. Hey, sticker packs are also still available. Get your sticker packs, god damn it. $10, Micro King, Window Cling, and then CiottiFPV magnet and sticker. Help me keep the boat afloat. Send me $10 in your address, and I'll send you some stickers. Hey, I've got this Axis flying box for the DJI goggles, to get the DJI goggles into your phone with the Axis cables that I'm not going to use. Now that I have the smart controller, I'm not going to use this. So if anybody wants this Axis flying box, hit me up, and I'll give you a good deal on it. Let's open a box from Great Southern FPV with my little Strix. I realized recently that this thing is magnetic. This is a little X-Acto knife jib jab that like fully protects it, which is amazing. But it's also magnetic. Here, listen. Ah! Ah! It sticks to the front of the... Do I have anything metal? This is aluminum. I ain't gonna stick to that. It sticks to the front of my workbench. All right. This is from Australia. They live their entire lives upside down. It's crazy. I don't know how they do it, man. I don't know how they do it. Thank you so much, Great Southern. This is very, very, very cool of you. Everybody in chat, you guys should also thank Great Southern, because a bunch of stuff in here is for giveaways. How is this box? How is this box set up here? Is that the top of the box? What did I just cut through? Cut through a bunch of cables. Oh boy! No, I didn't. Just kidding. Ooh, we got it. Got it! Holy crap, Great Southern. Great Southern cleaned out his entire house. And I am down with that. Alright, let's see what we got. So a bunch of this stuff is for giveaways. Oh man, I don't know if we're gonna be able to go through all this. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's a Runcam Nano 2. I'm seeing a Mamba in there. Oh, here we go. Toothpick, Nano 2, T-Motors. Ooh. What toothpick frame is that? Is that the old school TP3 frame? That might be the old school TP3 frame. Look at this little guy. I don't even know what this guy is. But he's on Autonomous Technology Motors. Look at this little thing. Oh man, we're going spelunking on this. And this is a 16 by 16 stack. Look at this little guy. Hey little buddy. I legitimately do not know what this is, but I will figure it out. A bunch of cameras. Okay, okay. A bunch of the bigger cameras. Ooh, some Runcam split stuff. 30 by 30 Runcam split stuff. Look at that. Oh man. It is archaeology time. We've got a full-size Swift, the old Rotor Riot version. Here's a oh, very cool. Here's a Unify Pro 32 and a Success Force VTX. Oh, here's one of those little Flywoo hexes with a bunch of stuff stuck to it. Ooh, okay. Damn, Great Southern. This is rad. I'm gonna get all this stuff organized, and we'll have some super fun giveaways coming up. Ooh, a bunch of motors in here. What are those guys? Those are HGLRC Areola. They look like 1202s-ish, maybe 1203. Here's a set of Gep RC. That looks like an 1105. Yeah, it's an 1105. Ooh. Dude. Ooh, a 1204. I'm probably keeping that. I'm going to need 1204s for that toothpick. It's going to get the hell beaten out of it. What else do we have here? I can't tell what that is. Oh my god. Great Southern, what is the deal with the motors? Holy Christ, you got a lot of motors in here. Speedix motors, look at that. Speedix 1103, 11,000. Oh my god, there are a lot of motors in here. Great Southern is addicted to testing motors. My man is in good company. We've got a Crux 35, very cool. That's a big ass frame. 3.5-inch toothpick frame. No, I guess it's not a toothpick. Oh, look at these. A blast from the past. These are the old school Pusher HQ 3-inch biblades. Oh my god. OG as fuck. Oh man. Great Southern. Thank you, brother. Oh my god, look at this. Woo! We're getting big. 13 dBi, 5.8 gig right-hand circular polarized SpiroNet. Damn. A big boy has entered the chat. Got a little I forget what these are called. I forget what this directional antenna is called. And a triple feed from Martin. A little bit of... Oh wow, that's right. This is why Great Southern was sending me a box, and then he threw a bunch of extra stuff in here. This is the Immersion RC wand, and he sent me. He's got a whole bunch of Immersion RC Tramp VTXs, which is what I run on all my analog glides. So that was the main reason that he was sending me a box. I'm assuming in here there's a bunch of Tramps. Very cool, man. Thank you. But Jesus, the extra stuff that you threw in here is outrageous. There's going to be a lot of folks building some awesome stuff from all these, man. Here's a set of, these are the Flywoo, the little gold boys, the little 1103 7650s. Very cool. Yo, this is also going to beef up the one of every motor project that I've had going on forever. My god, man. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. I got through the majority of the stuff. There's a bunch of propellers. Oh my god, those HQ propellers and that old HQ pink. Look at that. They're 3x3, 3x3x2. These old school HQs. Bro, super cool of you, man. Thank you. This is going to make a lot of people... Yeah, this is going to get a lot of people building, which is awesome because winter's coming. It's going to be like mega build time. Great Southern, thank you. Goddamn, guys, go. I don't know if he's got a channel that's... I'm sure he has a channel. Go sub to Great Southern. I don't think he's in the chat at the moment, but he's one of the regulars. Damn, dude, thank you. Figure out where I'm at in chat here. Mr. Huggy says, I don't have any of the Emax A-Vans to find out. They're like rocking horse poo in the UK. The motor bells are fairly flat on top. All right, fair enough. I might be able to figure out if those will work with a big wide like with the 1504s maybe. J-Drone says, with T-Motor 3140 prop, what motor do you recommend for a 220 to 240 all-up weight freestyle rig? I'm noticing all the motors are all T-mount now. Yeah, you don't have many choices, Jay. You're not going to get a rig down that light with that prop because the smallest motor that you're going to be able to use that propeller on is the X-Hover 1804, which is just an amazing combo, like arguably the best combo. T-Motor 3140 propeller and X-Nova 1804. But it's a little heavy. That's a little bit of a heavy combo. Yeah, none of the motors are really coming with M5 anymore. Your other option would be like to look for something that's got a 3mm mount. Look for a motor that's got a 3mm shaft, and then you run the little adapter. But I don't know any of those that are small too. Helical antenna. Thank you, right, 9. Helical. Juju says, Mr. Clam Man, what about him?
諦めんなよ。諦めんなお前。どうしてそこでやめるんだそこで。もう少し頑張ってみろよ。ダメやめ諦めたら。周りのことを思うよ。応援してる人たちのことを思ってみろって。あともうちょっとのところなんだから。俺だってこのマイナス10度のところしじみが取れると頑張ってんだよ。絶対やってみろ。必ず目標達成できる。だからこそネバギブアップ。
We're gonna need that in a bit when I start tearing this Ripsqueak down. Eva FPV says MCK is the new version of the 5146. Okay, yeah. That's a really pitchy prop. That's more of a racing prop. Robert Rosser says, good to see you again. Good to see you as well, my man. I wish I had a better answer for you, Jay, but we just don't have many great motors still. We have a bunch, though. We have way more than we used to. Raccoon FPV says, is there any good updates I can do to my Mobula 6 1S to make it fly nice? If so, what upgrades? So, Raccoon, I have spent a whole bunch of time working with Joshua and the team on the Ultimate FPV shopping list over on his website. And there is a Tinywhoop section here. And my personal builds, 2 of my personal builds are here. So this 65mm cheap easy build is my absolute favorite. Unfortunately, we do not have motors in here on the build because the high kV motors are just not in stock for very long. But at the moment, the motor option that's available. So yeah, base your build off of this. These things are really important here. You can skip these 3-blade props if you're going to upgrade your motors. The motor upgrade is over at We Bleed FPV. And they are the Gore 28,500 kV motors. So it's in here. I'm doing this because I want to see if they're still in stock. So Gore 28,500 kV, looks like they're still in stock. So snag a set before they go away. And you run these on the GemFan biblades, and that's the best Tinywhoop setup that I've found in 6+ years of building Tinywhoops. It's really amazing. So yeah, there you go. There's my entire build for you. Juju says Tyro 79. Very cool, dude. Thank you for that. Bannister Post says nice long-range antennas. Hell yeah, that's a hell of a long-range antenna. Brandon Zwickbean says that last edit, I thought you were gonna long range down the shoreline. Kind of think you should give it a go sometime. I did in that edit. I ran probably about a quarter of a mile up one direction, and then I chased it all the way down about a quarter mile the other direction. I chopped it up in the edit because it was just, I don't know, I find it to be sort of boring. Like after, I don't know, 5 or so seconds of just straight low flight, unless it's like something incredibly exciting that you're flying past, I always want to chop it up. So I chopped that big run up to just kind of keep the vibe going in that song. If you use like a gentle enough song, you can kind of pull that off and just like have a never-ending straight line cruise. But that song had a little bit more action to it, a little bit more energy to it. So yeah, I ended up cutting it up. Juju says, needed that. June Loco says, HD0 today. No, June. Today is Fix the Rip Squeak day. HD0 stuff will be on a Whoop Wednesday. Maybe this week. Probably this week, actually. I think it's next up. It's going to be a little boring for you guys, though, because I'm not going to be able to play that flight footage for you, like, live. So you'll have to sit here for 3 or 4 minutes just watching nothing. But then I will be able to pull the memory card and then show it to you. But it's not going to be as good as like the normal Whoop Wednesday stuff we do. But it needs to get done, so we'll get it going for sure. All right. Why is Premiere still running? Premiere's just sitting there like la 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 la. All right, let's get to work on this Rip Squeak, yo. I got to. Well, no. Let's do the newbie drone frame stuff first. So, the Cockroach 75 frame is what I run on all of these Tinylifters. Hold on, let me pull chat over. There we go. And the frame is not super strong. What's really nice about the frame is it has this brilliant X plate on the bottom, but the ducts themselves here are not super strong, which is that's the trade-off. Like, it's lightweight. If the duct area was stronger, it would be considerably heavier. And what can happen is it can just kind of break like this. Luckily, these frames are very inexpensive, and they don't really, these Tinylifters they're not meant to be crashed and slammed. So you kind of shouldn't be crashing them really hard anyway. But yeah, I will admit I do wish this frame was maybe a gram or two heavier and a little bit thicker out here on the ducts. So as I said earlier in the live stream, with these Tinylifters, you've got a 26 gram weight all the way up top here. So when you crash, if you crash, it really tries to rip the 3 mounting points off of the between the goober canopy and the frame. So here are 2 tricks to make this a lot stronger. The first trick is to run longer screws. These are the Mobula 6. These are the Mobula 7. Man, I forget what these screws are for. These screws are for the HD Mobulas. That's what they're for. I'm going to remove them in a minute, and you'll see how long they are. But these are just longer screws. In order to get these longer screws to go all the way in to the posts on this Cockroach 75 frame, you have to drill this guy out. The Cockroach 75 frame is designed to mount on both top and bottom. My God, is it hard to show you this? See the post there? God damn it. See that post? See there's a flat spot in between it? It's designed so that you can mount up on top, or you can also mount down on the bottom. See that? That little flat piece, this little flat part here, is a divider between the threaded part on the top and the threaded part below. So we just have to drill through that. And then that'll allow these longer screws to really go down. This is a hold on, I got this tiny little screw bit set from Amazon. This is a 1.05 millimeter drill bit. Look at this little kit. I don't know. Little tiny drill bit kit. Is it better without this light? Yeah, it is. 1.05 to 2 millimeters, set of 15. So yeah, I use the 1.05 millimeter drill bit to punch through, and you still got to be super careful because it's just barely small enough. So let's get this guy in here. There we go. All right, so where'd it go? Drill bit just disappeared. I think, well, that sucks. This drill won't clamp small enough for that. All right, I have another one. Hold on. That's super annoying. Hold on, I gotta go with the other drill. God damn it, I was gonna sell this other drill. I need a little small guy. Be right back, hold on! Hold on, lovely friend. All right. We're going to use this drill here, which is one of the ones I was going to get rid of, but glad I didn't already. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this guy has tighter fitting little jib jabs. So yeah, you just drill it out, and you just want to do it as carefully and as even as you possibly can, because it's really easy to kind of drill out the side of it. So nice and gentle. And you just want to try to get it as straight in there as possible. Alright, and you do have to give it some force. Luckily it's clear, so you can see when you've punched through that middle part. Let's reverse it to clear it out. And I forget which one it was, but whatever, we have to do them all anyway. So let me get a little bit more comfortable here for doing this, because I'm going to have to back this out a million times. So yeah, don't get carried away. Try not to drill into your finger on the other side. Should be fine. Again, it's clear so you can see it. The screws that we're going to put in are a little bit bigger, so you are going to wallow this out a little bit, but it's going to be fine. That screw is still going to grab it. And you do have to kind of clear it out a couple of times, because you're trying to drill through that flat spot, and it doesn't necessarily want to be drilled out. And I'm also trying to keep it nice and straight. The last thing I want to do is have this go through here crooked and have it, there it goes. And yeah, that would be bad. It's super sketchy that you're like drilling towards your finger, I must admit. But like I said, it's clear. You can see through it. You could also, you know what? It's a smarter idea to do this up from the bottom, come to think of it. Because the bottom part of the threads, it doesn't matter if you kind of wallow that out. Trying something here. Well, yeah, I mean, you can just go for power and speed. Power and speed, here we go. Hold on, let me clear this out. This is the way to do it on live streams. Power and speed, here we are. I'm keeping my finger off that other side now. I'm just using my fingernail to like pull it. Power and speed! Power and speed, there we go. Oh, we got one more. One more to do. Power and speed method. Here we are. By screwing it up, by doing it from the bottom here, I'm only opening up the bottom part. I would rather open up the bottom part than the top. Power and speed for the win. There we go. So that's how you drill that out. Now they're drilled out. And you can run these longer screws through them. Shirt of the day is one of my favorites from Blip Shift. I did a Gran Turismo 7 stream last night. What's up, Michael Blade? Aaron FPV asking about the Newbie Drone 1104s. Quad 66 has been testing them, and they're drawing an awful lot of current. They are desoldering them. So they're drawing so much juice that they are heating up the solder joints, and the motors are just desoldering themselves. 0804 is a very strange size. That's a size that screams like it's gonna overheat to me, and that might be what's going on there. They might be overheating. The motors themselves might be overheating, and then that's going to decrease their efficiency, and that's going to make a ton of extra heat, and then that extra heat is going to like go everywhere, and that might be why they're desoldering themselves. Maybe. An interesting motor size. I don't know. It's more of a toothpick motor size. There really isn't any Tinywhoop that's going to need a motor that big. These Tinylifters certainly don't want that motor because it's going to get really hot and it's not going to cool itself down, and the Tinylifters are going to cruise around at a pretty high throttle. So, it's definitely not a Tinylifter. Well, not definitely, but I have a funny feeling it's not a Tinylifter motor. But interesting. It's cool to have a lot of different motor sizes available. So, shouldn't complain too loudly. Michael Blade says, "What's up?" Kevin Sumner says that NSX can bite me. Yeah, I'm working on a race that I've been trying to get past for the last, my God, like 2 weeks or so, and I'm just not getting it done. It's kind of incredible how difficult certain races are in Gran Turismo 7. I love it. I really do. Because the game is like primarily a single-player game. Like, yes, it has an online mode and whatnot, but it's mainly a single-player game. I don't know why I'm pulling the screws out of the carbon fiber brace. I don't need to do that. So yeah, it's really good that there are races with that are set up to be really challenging. I wish the challenge wasn't that the cars were so much of a higher performance point. Basically, it's a point where you're limited to 600. It's a race where you're limited to 600 performance points, but all of your competitors are 700. So they're just faster cars. But it ends up being fairly evenly balanced. I don't know. It's very, very fun. I got to find the right car, and I got to get the right tune on it to be able to win the race, and I just haven't been able to find that yet. But I will. That's sort of like the meta of the game. Finding the right car for each race. This race is in the wet, so I keep going towards all-wheel drive cars, but the racetrack actually dries out. So a really heavy all-wheel drive car is going to run into tire. It's going to basically just chew through its tires. So this is motor number 1. I think that's usually. I would love to not have to change the rotation of the motors, but I don't know. We'll just do red. We'll see what's up. And so we'll throw these motors on this fresh frame here, and then we'll move over the AIO, and all will be right with the world. And the canopy and all that stuff. Boiler Boy says, Get FPV has V2 in stock. They do. I think Kevin Sumner called that out a little bit ago. V2 as in the Rip Squeak V2. I wish I could find somewhere with the Ripsqueak V1 in stock, because I would love to grab a couple of extras. But I don't know. Maybe this is a sign that I need to link back up with Ryan Harrell to make some changes to my frame for it to fit the RunCam hybrid better. And then, yeah, we won't have to rely on BQE, because it's starting to look like BQE is, yeah, I don't know. They've been out of stock on an awful lot of stuff for an awful long time, and I know Bill had some personal life things going on, so I don't know. I hope that Bill comes back. I really, really, really do. He's a great guy, and he's been on the scene for a long, long, long time. But he's been kind of MIA for a while, so it's starting to be like, well, BQE might not be. I don't know. We'll cross our fingers, though. Fingers be crossed. All right, we got 2 motors on here. Let's get the other 2, and then we'll move on. I should have looked at where I had the different colored motor wires, but I forgot. That's okay. I think... No, I didn't. I was going to say, I think I resoldered these motors, but I definitely didn't. These are... My favorite thing about these motors for the Tinylifter is that they come with the JST 1.0 newbie drone specific plugs on them. So these motors are plug and play for a Tinylifter. What's not plug and play about the Tinylifter is the double battery setup. But I mean, technically you could just run, they sell, and I have a bunch of, I actually have them for sale, a bunch of PH 2.0 2S 350 mAh and 300 mAh batteries. So you could, yeah, you could build a solderless Tinylifter at this point. I think. Yeah, you totally could. You totally could. I don't know how to mount the battery. You'd have to figure out a battery mount. I'm all about this crazy double BT 2.0 setup here, and then you put each battery on this awesome little double battery holder TPU jib jab setup. But yeah, you could technically do a with the right TPU battery holder down here, or just with a rubber band, you could do a little solderless Tinylifter build. I should probably do a video on that. Once I'm not going to keep 3 Tinylifters together. That's a bit excessive. But I have the 3 of them together for testing, just to make testing a little bit easier. Once I settle on a parts combination, I'll pull one of them apart and put a regular old PH 2.0, single PH 2.0 connector on it, and I'll figure out the battery mount situation, and then I'll do a little live stream or an edit building a solderless Tinylifter. Because what a cool little build, you know? Just a great, great, great little Insta360 Go or RunCam thumb carrying simple build with a carbon fiber X plate down here that makes tuning it not a nightmare, which is really cool. I mean, basically what you can do is Newbie Drone sells Cockroach Bind and Fly Cockroach 75s. It's just that with a motor swap to these 1102s. They don't sell it with this big of a motor. And then you put this little TPU thing on top, and that's kind of it. So here's the extra long screws, friends. Boiler Boy, we got that. Kevin Sumner says, I think you did better with the, what was that, F40 spitting distance to the NSX at the end. So no, I did better with the R35. I've put a ton of time into developing the R35 build for that specific race. Then I switched over to the Ferrari F430, and I wasn't even on the podium. But that's not surprising because that was the first shot at that F40 build, and it was on stock suspension. I'm going to try again, I think with the F430, with a tuned suspension. The tuned suspension will require me to take a little bit of power out, but it should make it faster through the corners. We'll see. It's that sort of becomes the meta in GT7 is power versus weight versus aftermarket parts. When you're trying to build something for a 600 performance point class race rather, yeah, you can bounce back and forth with different things, and on different racetracks it'll make it faster or slower. So this race is in the rain, but it is a big open track, so you got to have power, but you also got to have grip, and it's just an interesting little mix of them. It's one of my favorite things about motorsport is, similar to what we're doing, you have to get a good mix of all things. I cut the center section out of this frame. Usually there's this little center support here. I wonder why. Is it not going to clear this? Is it not going to clear this AIO? Or was I running a different AIO in it at the time? Let's see. So on this, what's happening? No, here we go. Here we go. There it is. I had it rotated. Nah, it looks like we're fine. Let's put it on here and see what's what. Come on. Get in there. There we go. All right. And now let's take a look at the bottom and see if there's anything conflicting. Nah, we're good. Oh, nope, wait. Okay, yeah, I see it. So on the V3, there's an extra little piece, a little heat sink on the bottom. Man, I'm just not going to be able to show you this. There's a little heat sink. Oh, it's not on the bottom. It's on the front, actually. And that's hitting the... that's hitting this little bit of webbing here. So I just need to trim on the front a little bit of the little plastic piece off, and I'm just going to show. There's just no way that I'm going to be able to show it to you. I'm just going to show you what I need to trim off. This is the little heat sink here. This is the little additional heat sink here. You see that piece of copper-looking thing there that I'm letting the light catch, and that's catching just the front part of this little thing. So basically what I need to do is just take, and it's hitting on the right side. So I'm just going to clip off this little front piece here. And that's going to make it clear. I'm just going to show you guys. So I just clipped that little part off there. Just that little front bit. See it? See how it's missing now? Right here. And that's going to let it clear that little heat sink. I do not remember doing that. That's kind of wild. Just round these edges off a little bit. Okay. There we go. I just don't want to put it back together and then have to rip it back apart. So let me just real quick take a little bit more material off here. There we go. That should be fine. ESC says, "What's the all-up cost of the Tinylifter build? I want to build a couple." It's basically just on Newbie Drone's website. They sell a Cockroach 75 bind and fly. It's just that with a motor swap. I forget what these 1102 motors cost, but yeah, motor swap, and then you got to figure out what you're doing for a battery. If you're going to do the double BT 2.0 thing like me, it's going to be another couple bucks. All right, so there we go. So now you can see maybe maybe you can see that. No, you're not going to be able to see it. No, you're not going to be able to see it. But the thing that I did the thing that I wanted it to do. And now we're going to move on. Okay. And so I actually didn't need to drill out all 4 of those. I only needed to drill out the 2 side posts and the rear posts, because the front post just gets a normal length screw put into it. It's the sides and the rear that get these longer Mobula 7 screws. Mobula 7 HD screws, I should say. These are the screws for the Mobulas that have a double tall stack. That's what these are. Make sense? See how long they are? But yeah, they work brilliantly for this. The only annoying part is they have the tiniest little Phillips head engagement part on them, and they're a real bitch to get screwed in, but you'll get it. So there we go. Let's make sure that this is gonna go all the way through there, and you'll know. But if you don't drill these out, these screws will just stop tightening, and the canopy will be able to kind of rattle around, and that's going to give you some jello issues. So yeah, you kind of have to do this. All right, so we don't need this anymore. Yeah, this is sort of a requirement. Does anybody happen to remember who modified this? So this little TPU loopy jib jab is a modified. So Newbie Drone has on their website an STL file for the Insta360 Go 1, and then one of you beautiful bastards adapted it to the Insta360 Go 2. And I have a whole bunch of extras, so if you guys need them, and you're never going to rip or anything like that, so if you guys ever need these, just hit me up. But I would love to also figure out, it might be on Thingiverse. I think I asked them to put it up on Thingiverse. So this print file might be on Thingiverse, but if it's not, I have a whole bunch of extras. Whoever made them sent me a bunch of extras that I've been just kind of sitting on. They're one of the things that I bug you guys every once in a while and ask you if you need. But yeah, if you're going to do a Tinylifter, you're going to need that TPU, and I got you covered. Might have been Kevin Sumner. Was it you, Kevin, that modified this print file? That's a total shot in the dark. So there we go. The only other thing with the Tinylifters is going to be putting an EP2 on them. They come with FR Sky, and yeah, you get a little plug header from Newbie Drone for the V4 board, and then you can put an EP2 on it. I mean, or just fly it with FR Sky, but I don't trust that shit. I got no trust for FR Sky. Alright, so you want to get these guys pretty tight. The way that I tighten these up is I crank it down, and then I push down on the canopy. And I see if it'll create a little gap. I don't want it to create a little gap between the screw head and the canopy mounting point. So let me just do that real quick here. Yeah, so this one needs to get a little bit tighter. And that's probably about right. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. So that side's done. The rear one is always the most difficult because it kind of makes a little angle. But just make sure you get it as close as you can to not having a little gap there. You don't want to over tighten it because then the little rubber grommets won't do shit. But yeah, the rear one is hard to get it. All right, so that's fine. We're really compressing the rubber grommet only in the rear. It's kind of close enough. Get this other side going, and then we'll be done. This one actually needs to get tightened quite a bit. All right, let's see how that is. Much better. Almost there. A little bit more. Come on. Okay. There it is. All right, cool. Canopy is good to go. Let's plug these motors in, and this Tinylifter will be back on its little tiny feet. Okay. Got that guy. And this little fella. Come on. Get in there. Man, I have a hard time doing this without tweezers. That's what she said. Okay. There's that one. I always forget which way the plugs go. Alright, so it's little latches towards me. Come on. There we go. Ah, you bastard, you. Okay, and little latches towards me. Oops, nope. All right. There it is. Let's make sure these guys are all seated all the way. And we're golden. All right, cool. And I like to run these little motor wires along with the carbon fiber struts just to kind of try to keep them out of the way of the airflow. The other way is to do it in this direction, and actually, I sometimes like doing it this way better because it just keeps it away from the batteries. These are tight builds, man. Like the one set of wires, the motor wires, will pretty easily get in the way of the batteries. I'm trying to go in there. So there. Set it up like that. Just get these out of the way. Like that. Cool. I actually have a set of these batteries charged. Hey, I am going to try the biblades on this rig. I have not. So these are the Newbie Drone Flow 1102 10,000 kV motors. I don't think that they're going to have enough RPM for these biblades, but the best way to find that out for sure is to try it. So we're going to do that really quick, and I'll be able to give you guys a straight answer on if you can do these biblades comfortably. I would love it if I could, maybe. I don't know. The biblades are a little noisy, and this is kind of a stealthy rig. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting if this has enough thrust. I really doubt it. I think 10,000 kV on 2S is not going to be enough to pick up this heavy of a camera, but we'll know in a second. And I'm really excited to get the... Hey! Does anybody need stuff from Flywoo? I have a Flywoo shopping cart that's got like $20-something and stuff in it, but the shipping is $10 to the U.S. So I'm kind of holding off to see if anybody else needs stuff from Flywoo's website. I have an affiliate link to Flywoo's website now, and they have some really specific, really good stuff. So if anybody wants to get in on this Flywoo order with me to split shipping or whatever, please let me know as soon as you can, because they've got a Gemfan V2 quad blade propeller that I really want to run on this rig here. So yeah, if anybody wants to get in on a Flywoo order with me, let me know, and then when the order comes in, I'll throw it in a little bag and ship it to you. A couple of the really cool things that Flywoo has that nobody else has. The big thing is the... well, I actually have it in the description of my videos now. The 9x15 LED race wires. If you want to run race wires on a micro, like a Rip Squeak, for example, these are the only race wires that'll fit because they're only 15 millimeters long. They're 9 millimeters wide, 15 millimeters long. Green, pink, and white are the only colors that are available at this point. But yeah, that's one of the really awesome things that Flywoo has that nobody else does. The other thing that Flywoo has that I really dig is an M2 hardware kit. These are almost impossible to find nowadays, and they've got a really good one. It's got a really good assortment of screw sizes, and it also looks like it seals up really nice. So yeah, this is another really awesome thing that Flywoo has. Let me know if you want to split an order up with me. I would love to. Bozadar says, for QAV Pro, and I bought Brother Hobby 1404 4600 kV motors. 3 have very thin wires to connect to the ESC, and 1 motor has quite thick wires. The wire is as thick as the 3 on the other. That's weird. The same motor has 3 different, or did you get 2 different? I assume that you got. That's weird. That happens when the motor manufacturers change, like from version 1 to version 2 of a motor, and they don't change the marking on there, which is super annoying. I hate when motor manufacturers do that. It's not going to really affect performance unless the motors with unless they went from thin wires to thick wires, because the thin wires were causing like a resistance problem, basically. But in theory, you should be fine. I gotta figure out motor direction on this first. There's just very little chance that it's right on the first go from swapping these motors over. So yeah, you should be fine to run those like that in theory, but it kind of sucks that happened to you, to be really honest. Betaflight, let's plug in here, pull up the motors tab and see the directionality of these motors. Motor 1 is correct. Motor 2 is correct. Motor 3 is correct. Motor 4 is correct. Look at me go. I actually didn't need to plug in here. 12 motor poles, that's good. PID tuning, 100% motor output limit. We did a little bit of work on the tune the other night, and it's coming along. This will be interesting on... yes, the ones that I use on the Cinesplorer are made by Flywoo, Eva. So, yeah, if you want Cinesplorer race wires, it's going to have to be these. None of the other race wires are going to be small enough. And we want a broken Cockroach 75 frame. There's all kinds of good stuff buried on Flywoo's website too. It's they make some good stuff. Hold on, let me just take a quick look at some of these settings here and see if I can further kind of massage this tune a little bit. 300Q, max 900. Okay, that all looks fine. PID gains are high, but they're not that high. Drift wobbles at a 0.8, dynamic damping 1.2. I'm gonna move the master multiplier up even more. This is a very, 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 very top-heavy rig. Anti-gravity is all the way down at 3. That's a little bit low. Let's bring it back up to 10. I think I accidentally changed. Oh, wait, no, anti-gravity. No. Anti-gravity, we're gonna put it at 4. It was I thought I was looking at iTerm relax. Okay, now we're gonna leave this. This is looking pretty good. All right, let's see how this little guy does. I got the VRX plugged in here. Looks like it's working. We'll fly a quick battery on here, see how it is with the biblades. I should be able to tell pretty quickly whether or not these are making enough thrust. Flat spot away on the battery bay. And I guess I'll show you guys how the batteries sit in here. It's really slick. So the one battery goes down below there in the little TPU holder. And then you just got to get it past the little struts on the frame. All right, so one of them sits in there like that. Plug it in. And then the other one sits up here like this. And there you have it. Let's get the Insta360 Go on here. Just for the weight. I'm not even going to run it. Well, I mean, I guess I might as well run it. Okay, it goes in here like this, and then like that. And the button kind of always gets pressed when you first put it in there, but that's okay. And then you just look at it from the top there and just get it kind of straight. There we go. That's that. Plug it in, and we shall fly. VRX tab. We might as well set it to record, but let's get the transmitter going here first. I need to swap in the ELRS module. All right, let's see how it is on the biblades. Pretty sure that we're not going to have enough. Basically, just look at the throttle position off on the right there, above 0.09 amp, and we're probably going to see a crazy throttle position at hover. Let's see. Transmitter's telling me that the battery's dead. All right, so let's see. Not as bad as I thought. 45 is a little bit too much, though. Especially because I don't have any forward momentum on. Yeah, no, not enough power. Not enough RPM. Not quite enough. Which is a shame, because it flies really good with these biblades on it. So do the Betaflight motors. It is loud, though. Listen to how loud this is. Alright? Let's do a noise test, actually. So there it is on biblades. Oops. So that's how loud it is on biblades. Now let's swap on to quadblades, and you can hear how loud that is. Because yeah, these biblades are just not. They're not gonna work. Too loud and too loud and not enough power. Ah, nice. Thanks, Bozidar. Welcome to the collective, my man. Bozidar just joined the Patreon. I have another Patreon shout-out that I need to get out. I saw it in my email the other day. One of the things that I'm shipping with every giveaway win is these little pieces of stuff. These are motor grippers. You wrap this around. You use this to grip the bell of the motor, like that. And then you can just twist the prop up and off. Works pretty well. I usually do it in my left hand here, but my fingers are all mangled from anxiety lately. So yeah, it just gives you a much better grip on the motor bell so that you can safely remove your little propellers. Always remember with a Tinywhoop propeller, if you're pushing really hard to get it on, you're going to have a hard time getting it off. Never push, never like go full fucking gorilla on pushing Tinywhoop propellers on, because eventually you're going to have to get them off, and it's going to be a real nightmare. It can turn into a real nightmare. So I'm gonna move this over to the the V1, the old school gem fan quad blade propellers. When I get that Flywoo order in, I'll get the V2s that are apparently slightly better balanced. I'm excited about that. But for now, we're going to use the old school ones because we're doing a little sound test here. All right, there we go. So those guys are not making enough thrust on these. They do sell these motors in a higher kV. They sell these motors. These are 10,000 kV. I think they sell these motors in like 18,000 kV. And that would fix the problem of these biblades not making enough thrust. But they would still be very noisy. One of the big things I'm trying to do with these is keep them quiet. So the more propeller blades, the better in terms of noise level. So let's give this a quick shot. I think it'll be immediately evident to you guys. But if you want, of course, you can rewind and give that last flight a little listen. I'm going to fly the same flight path. I'm going to go through those same gates, so you'll get a good like one-to-one comparison. It should be pretty obvious, though. I don't think there's going to be any need to rewind. I think you guys are going to notice it right away. Okay. Just because, you know, biblades have that, like, shrill, like, always. Every biblade that you've ever run. I mean, I like it. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's a hysterical noise. And I find the noise that these quads make kind of interesting. But in terms of, like, wanting to fly this in sketchy spots like malls and shit, it's not a good idea to have it making all that noise. All right, here we go. Keep putting this goggle down on my face and something hurts. Right, here we are. See how much quieter that is? Still makes some noise for sure. But it's a much like smoother noise. It's less like Argh! It also makes more power, and what's the hover? My hover point's still pretty high. Although the battery is sagging now. This battery is getting a little bit low. Farts. I think that's about the end of this battery. Oh God! Man, this thing really struggles to turtle mode over. God damn. Yeah, I'm worried about this rig. Not being able to turtle mode itself over if I crash it somewhere nasty. But again, the point of these Tinylifters is not to crash them. Yeah, I got all the gates set up right now. See, like, not all of them, but I got a whole bunch of the gates smashed into one little area right now, just for funsies. So yeah, there you guys go. There's a pretty obvious. Can you guys tell a difference in noise? I should try to do all of iGow with this rig. Can you imagine? Get crispy Insta360 Go 2 footage for International Game of Whoop. Can you imagine? That would be wild. These are also the shittiest batteries. These are really crappy batteries for this rig. But since I'm doing like a bunch of testing, I want to lay the smack down on these batteries rather than my nice Weebleed FPVs or tinywhoop.coms. Hey, apparently somebody messaged Jesse and told Jesse that I was saying the other night that the tinywhoop.com batteries like fail. And that is, I didn't say that at all. Like I don't know how someone misconstrued that so badly, but like I did not say that at all. Did you guys think that I said that? Did I like accidentally say? I certainly didn't mean to say that. I'm not gonna watch the stream back, but yeah, if I somehow managed to accidentally say that, that is not true. The tinywhoop.com tattoo and We Bleed FPV 300 mAh BT 2.0 batteries, they're all the same. Like I said that about 7,000 times on that video. I don't understand how anybody would have misconstrued that, but yeah, whoever told Jesse that, thanks a lot, because Jesse was like, yo, what's happening? And it was just a fucking waste of time of me explaining to Jesse, like, I did not say that at all, and that's not the truth at all. So I don't know, be careful, pay more attention, I guess, like, because that just started like a whole thing that didn't need to exist, and I didn't say that. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for nothing. Back to the bench. We got to rip apart this. So this is good to go. It's gonna hang out on these 4 blades for a little bit here until the flywheel order comes in, and then I'll move it to the V2 quad blades. But I mean, I think I can start flying this thing. What did you guys think of the difference in noise? Is it a lot or a little? Can you tell? You can tell. I'm sure you can tell. Iric Grepboy Toft with a $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says it's because you didn't say it 8,000 times. Yeah, like I try to like not repeat myself, but like every single time that I don't repeat myself, this kind of stuff happens. So like, what's really annoying is like I watch other YouTubers and like they'll repeat themselves a bunch of time, and I'll be like, yo, stop fucking repeating yourself. I'm paying attention. But I guess like a lot of people just don't pay attention. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a waste of time to repeat myself, but if I just bomb through fucking 2 hours of info without like, and I also like when I'm repeating myself, I'm trying to like explain things in a slightly different way. So that if the initial way that I explained it doesn't click with your brain, the second way that I explain it does, hopefully. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. The main Tinylifter is good to go though, which is very exciting. Because I think I like this one best. I think I like this one that's on the Newbie Drone Flow motors the best. Although what I will admit is that the one that's on the biblades, on the higher KV, the 18,000 KV Beta FPV 1102s, that one flies a little bit better. Those biblades really perform amazing. CMYK says, "Do you even Tinylifter, bro?" Kevin Sumner says, nope, it wasn't me, but I did get into 3D design. Just finished a 3S 1860 case last night because I'm tired of fat shark low battery beep on 2S. EVA-FPV is not finding the bind and fly. Are the ones you use on the Cinesplorer. Oh, we got that. Blizzardar, thanks again for joining the collective. My man, EVA-FPV says, I saw a Reddit post that said the wire keycap pullers for mechanical keyboards are really nice for moving Tinywhoop props. That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I've got this little chip lifter that works brilliantly on the 1mm shaft stuff, but it doesn't work all that well on the 1.5mm shaft stuff. I love that key puller idea because that would basically loop under the propellers and then you can pull straight up. That's really slick. Okay, back to the bench we go. Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper says the sound is a big difference. All right, cool, awesome. Sometimes I wonder, man. Like I try to check myself on everything, but yeah. Oh my God, it's 5 o'clock. I have to leave here at 6 to go get Maggie from the train. I kind of want to try the tri-blades on that rig now. I want to back-to-back the tri-blades versus the quad blades. Maybe we'll do that on Whoop Wednesday. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow night, too. Tomorrow night's a giveaway stream, though. It's going to be hard to get anything done. I'll do it on my time. I'll compare the 3 and 4 blades on my time. Because once I have that figured out, once I figure out 3 blades versus 4, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take these. I'm going to show you how to use the Tinywhoop Prop Locket really quick, and then we're going to tear apart. We're going to start the tear down of this Rip Squeak, and I can finish it on my time, and then we'll wrap this thing on up. This camera keeps getting smacked. All right, so here's the so any of these Gem Fan Tinywhoop propellers that have the T-mount screw holes, basically any of the Tinywhoop propellers that are 3 holes instead of just 1, you can use this awesome little tool that Mike from Gem Fan created called the Prop Locket. And here's how it works. It's really, really slick. This is hands down the best way to remove Tinywhoop propellers. So you unscrew it, and then it's got these 2 little machine-headed screws on it, and you use the little 1.5 mil hex that's built into this thing. And what you do is you screw this guy into the outer mount holes just a little bit. You don't have to go ham. Just screw it in a little bit. It just has to pull up on the propeller. So you just screw these guys in a little bit here. They go in real easy. So now you got 2 little jib jabs on there, right? So now you take this little thing, this little part of the prop locket here that has that little offset oval bastard, and that grabs the top of those little screws. See that? Goes right on there, and it grabs those 2 guys. And then you take this other part that's got a 1mm shaft, thin little bastard, and you just screw that in. And that little 1mm center shaft pushes against the center shaft of the motor itself, and then those 2 little guys pull straight up on the propeller. And you just tighten this guy in, and it just very slowly and gradually, see it? Just pulls the propeller right up. If you screw those in a little bit extra, it'll pull it all the way off, but I don't, because once it's up like that, it's good to go. And see, it just holds it like that. That's what's going on with it. So with it like this, you'll see exactly how it works. Or the Logitech will refuse to focus, and I will lose my fucking mind. And then you just back this guy off, and it releases that little center pin, and then it all comes apart, and then you do it again. Admittedly, it takes a little bit of time to do this, if you can. But see, some of these fit really tight. Like, yeah, these fit really tight, these quad blades. So it's, you don't absolutely have to, but it's definitely the safest way. It keeps you from bending the propeller blades up and ruining the propeller, but it also keeps you from ripping the bell off of the motor shaft, which is a thing that absolutely happens with these little tiny motors. So there you go. Put it on there. Drop this guy on. Center pin in there. Catches. Away you go. Does that make sense? Could you guys see what I was just doing? Off it comes. Ethan W says, do you get any jello with the Tinylifter? So after a ton of work, I do not get. I don't know what fixed the jello issue. It might have been getting the canopy tighter. I had jello problems with these Tinylifters for a long time. But yeah, lately, my most recent effort here at the new house, I've not had jello. So yeah, it's a thing that you're probably going to have to fight with, but you just look at every little part of the build and keep tightening stuff up and keep looking at like different motors. I've tried a bunch of different motors for these. What I can say is the Betaflight 1102s and now these Newbie Drone Flow 1102s. I'm not having any jello with them. So I'm very happy about that because that was a really annoying period of time that I was trying to get that jello out. Yeah, Morton Upshot says, like getting a pulley off of an alternator. Exactly right. This is very similar to a pulley puller from the car world. Right. And I mean, these will also work on 1.2 millimeter propellers, but I don't know of any 1.2 mil propellers that have the 3 holes in them. Usually they're all single hole. But yeah, this is an awesome little tool. Admittedly, it is a tool with a pretty limited use case. See, that one I could just pull off safely. But the other ones were like really on there. So I'm glad I used it on the other ones. And then look, it goes all back together. It's got these 2 little holes here for the storage of these 2 little guys. The little machine screws. So you put those guys there, and then you put the cap on, and it holds them in. And yeah, now they won't come out of there. They're held in by the little cap. And then one of you beautiful bastards made these little this is a little stabby. So one of you guys made these cool little TPU caps for it, which are totally not necessary, but very cool nonetheless. If you're going to have it in your bag, it's, you know, unless you don't mind getting stabbed. So I'm going to put this onto these tri-blades because that Flywoo order will eventually come in, and then I'll move it onto those Flywoo quad blades. So yeah, for now, I'm going to put it onto these tries though. I'm tempted to try these. These are the Newbie Drone Azzy 1.6, but what I find is that they're not balanced. Like I put these on and they're like rattly and like yeah, they're just not balanced. So I don't know. They also don't have the 3 holes, so they're really hard to get off. They are quiet though. They're incredibly quiet. They just don't seem to be balanced. It's very weird. Well, maybe... I think they get bent when I'm putting them on because they fit over the motor shaft incredibly tight, and then and then they're hard to get off. I'm not doing those again. They're not going back on here. We're gonna do these gem fan tries because I know that they're balanced and they don't get bent when I'm taking them on and putting them off. And then yeah, when the new quad blades come, we'll give those a shot. So we'll do another sound test when whenever I get that Flywoo order in and it eventually shows up. We'll do another prop swap and see if you guys can tell a difference in sound. All right. And we can also take a look at like the hover point and all that good stuff. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll check flight time too, because these tri-blades should be, they should be a little bit more efficient than the quads. Always make sure that you get the props all the way down on the shaft. It really does make a difference. This one is not all the way down. Let's give it a little bit more anger. Yeah, there you can go. You can kind of just see it from the top, like how far the shaft is sticking up to the top level of the propeller. It's hard to tell on the Tinywhoops because like the duct sits. Now this one's not down all the way either. The duct sits perfectly in line with the bottom of the motor bell, so you can't just like look if there's a gap between the propeller and the top of the motor bell. You got to kind of figure it out from the little top part, and that's a little bit of an inexact kind of thing. But you'll figure it out, and as long as you get it pretty close, like if it's off by a fraction of a millimeter, it's not the end of the world. All right, I think that's about right. I use the little 5x loop to just kind of look at the top of the propeller from like a 45-degree angle, and you can kind of, you look at all 4 of them in a row and you'll get a feel if one of them is a little bit too low. And I think this one is still a little bit too low. I don't have another set of batteries charged, so I can't put this back up in the air on the tri-blades, but you'll have to just use your imagination. Use your imagination station, friends. Yeah, these Azzies are a letdown, man, because they're super quiet. But yeah, they create this weird vibration, and vibes are the enemy when you're carrying an Insta360 Go 2, because it's really sensitive to jello. So kind of a shame. And they're a nightmare to get on and off, so I don't know. They're a pain in the ass in multiple different ways. Aaron FPV says, can you stick the cam in to check hover point? That changes the tune quite a bit as well. So that was with the camera in there. Jason Crabtree says, super cool to see the Rip Squeaks today. I just asked on the last stream if you were still flying them, but couldn't stay to hear the answer. Yeah, they're in a constant state of crashing, exploding, putting back together, breaking again. So let me first hook a battery up to this and confirm that there's no... confirm that the ESC has shit the bed, because if the ESC is not dead, I'll just do a simple arm swap and send this thing back into oblivion. But I'm pretty sure that the ESC grenaded on the crash, which really doesn't surprise me because this thing hit hard. Like, it hit really hard. Although it looks like the plug header might have backed out a little bit, so we might actually be okay. Let's... Oh, yeah, the plug header totally backed out. Oh, fuck yeah. This was a pilot error crash. This was not a desync crash or anything like that. I think we're good to go. As a big chunk off of the little sandwich plate there. Let's see. Listen for it. Hey! Happy days are here again, motherfuckers. So I'm going to swap both front arms out to thicker front arms. This is currently on these little... All four of the arms are 2.5 mil thick, and that's just not enough. That is just not enough arm thickness for a rig that's going to be at like 250 grams. So we're going to pull both front motors, both front arms, and swap those out, and then we'll shut today's stream down. The Azzy, good call, Aaron FPV. The Azzies are also very, very light, which I really like. But yeah, man, they just, like, in the process of putting the damn things on, they bend, and then like trying to get them, and it's because they fit so tight on the shaft. It's because they fit so tight on the shaft, guys. I mean, it actually is. So, like, when you're putting them on, there's a good chance you're going to bend them because they fit too tight. And then when you're trying to take them back off, you're almost certainly going to bend them if you can even get them off. Like, sometimes I won't be able to get them off. It's like, what do I have to fucking take a pair of wire cutters and just cut the propeller off the motor? Like, that's not good. These new arms have the little TPU jib-jabs already on them. So I'm pulling these, and yeah, so that's where it broke, right in there, right in where it meets up with the with this thing, and unfortunately it took this little brace plate with it, which is a super bummer because if Bill doesn't come, I don't have any extras of these little brace plates, so if Bill doesn't come back, basically, I don't know. Well, wait, hold on. These brace plates are on a different part of the website, so maybe they are in stock. Let me show you where they are, because they are important. They add a ton of strength. What I mean by brace plate is this piece right here. This extra piece. See how? There it is. Yeah, this piece right here. And it's on a different part of the website. So let's take a quick look. And let's try. Is there no search on here? There's no search on here. Replacement parts. And let's see what we can find. Here it is. Arm braces for Rip Squeak. Please be in stock. Please be in stock. Please be in stock. They're in stock. Look at that. 1 mils out of stock. 1.5 is in. 2 millimeters is in. 3.2 is a bit much. So I'm going to get a couple extras in 2 mil and a couple extras in 1.5. Very cool. And then I'm going to hit the rest of this website to see if there's anything else that I can find. Because, yeah, I always like to do that. All right, awesome. Back to the bench. All right, so those are all removed. I'm going to hold on to... Wait a second. Are the extra arms on here as well? Man, they have some cool fucking merch. I've always dug their merch. Where are those replacement parts at? They're down here, aren't they? There they are. There we go. Rip Squeak replacement arms. Let's see what we got. So this is what I broke. 2.5 inch prop, 2.5 millimeter. It actually still does clear. In the same way that the Rip Squeak 3-inch arms clear 3.5 inch props, the Rip Squeak 2.5 inch arms clear 3-inch props, just barely, but they do clear them. So this is what I broke. They are lighter. They also have 2-inch props. They are lighter, which is awesome. I'm just not going to run them. I'm going to run the thick. So they also. What? What are these that I'm putting on? Hold on. Let's. You guys can't see what I'm clicking. I'm clicking on the monitor over there. Let me pull these off and see what the deal is here. Because I thought that the replacements that I was putting on here were the same length as these little guys. Maybe these are 3-inch props. All right, I take it all back. These are 3-inch props that I'm putting on here. I was wrong. Or that I had on here. The props that I have on here, I'm sorry, the arms that I have on here right now that I broke the front of, it's a 3-inch arm, 2.5 millimeters thick. They also sell a 2.5-inch arm that's 2.5 millimeters thick. That would actually make more sense for this rig because the shorter arm is going to be a shorter lever, and it's going to survive a little bit better. So let's order. I think I already have a set of the 2.5-inch arms. I don't know. I'm gonna get a bunch of arms. I'm gonna get a bunch of replacement arms for the Rip Squeaks because God forbid they go away. The arms go away forever. I don't want to be asked out. So here's the really fun part: is going to be trying to extract this broken titanium M3 screw. It might actually not be a big deal. This carbon fiber delaminated down here, but I mean, kind of doesn't matter. It broke and probably delaminated during that process. Ah, awesome! It's not. It still spins pretty easily. So this is the first time that I've broken titanium M3 hardware on a micro. Usually, titanium M3 hardware is strong enough. This thing breaking didn't cause anything bad to happen, so I'm going to continue to. I'm going to replace this with another. Titanium M3 screw. What I don't like is when hardware breaks and that causes other things to explode. That is not ideal. But in this case, that is not at all what happened. So we're gonna be all right. Okay, so here's one of the arms that I removed. Here's the arm that I'm replacing it with, and if I line these up lengthwise, they are basically the same length. Slightly different, but I think that's because I'm not lining them up correct. Nah, they're the exact same length, but there's a big difference in thickness here. There you can maybe see. Yeah. 2.5 inch over here. 3.2. I'm sorry, 2.5 millimeter over here. 3.2 millimeter over here. So, yeah. All right. So this is going to go back into the bag of it. So this is my replacement arm for the rear of this rig. I've now got one extra replacement arm for the rear of this guy. So I'm going to pull the little TPU protector off of it, wipe some of the arm grease off, and it'll go right back in the bag of extra Rip Squeak arms. All right, there we go. That's clean enough. I'm actually gonna. No, we'll leave this on. That's fine. All right, cool. So that's going back in the micro frames bag. Now we're gonna replace both of these front arms. Those 2.5. What I will say is that those 2.5 millimeter arms, they are significantly lighter. If this rig is going to become a 2.5 inch propeller rig, though, I definitely want to try it on those 2.5 inch, 2.5 millimeter arms to try to keep the weight down as low as possible on this thing. So these 3-inch arms are just going to be going on here for the interim. These are not going to stay on here. Let's get these fuckers greased up a little bit. And I'll swap these arms back on, and this Rip Squeak will be back up, which is pretty awesome because I want to spend as much time with these 1404s on these 2.5 inch props as possible while the leaves are still on the trees here. I just need to find a replacement little base, little sandwich jib jab, sandwich plate, whatever the hell you want to call it. On the Rip Squeak, I put this the arm grease in the little joint between the two arms too. I like getting it in there. It makes a lot of sense that would help with the resonance between the two arms. If it actually does, I have no idea, but it makes sense to me that it would. All right, so we just get it on all the surfaces where it's carbon against carbon. And all right, there's that one. I'm gonna make sure I put this on here correctly. All right, so that one goes there, and then this guy is gonna go in here. First thing I want to do is get a bunch of that shit into that little crevice there. Okay, cool. That's looking good. And there we go. Just a little bit goes a long way on these. You do not need a lot of this Nyogel. And what you want to remember is you're going to crank these arms down, right? Like, if nothing else, you don't need a lot of this Nyogel because you're going to tighten the shit out of these arms against each other, and it's going to squish any little bit of extra out that you didn't put on there. So I really think that this is all about like a super light coat of this Nyogel. I just don't see a world where you would ever need a whole bunch of it. And then I like to kind of just sit these guys together just to kind of smash some of the stuff around in between these two, because there is this little joint in between them. You know what I mean? So yeah, just kind of like move this around a little bit to just sort of spread it. And then, yeah, looking a little dry on that one, but I don't know, it's probably fine. Okay, this guy's gonna sit like this. This guy's gonna sit like that. So now I just need a little replacement centerpiece. Wipe this Nyogel off. God, it does get everywhere. Kevin Sumner says, Nyogel, I think you mean sticky icky. Nah, that's something else. 661 says the 3.2 millimeter 3-inch arm is longer than the 2.5 millimeter 3-inch arm. Is it really? Yes, it is. It is. Because the 3.2 millimeter 3-inch arm is the new design, which is drilled for 9x9 and 12x12. The 2.5 millimeter arms are the old school design, which are drilled 9x9 only. Oh, interesting. 661 says, I have the 2.5-inch arms and they do not clear 3-inch props. Ooh, thank you for calling that out. I was just making an assumption on that. I also thought that these were the 2.5-inch props a minute ago. But I realized that my 2.5-inch arms, not props, arms, are over here, waiting to go on this other like cinematic 2-inch Rip Squeak, which I'm going to steal one of the little brace plates from, because I'm ordering some more. So yeah, there's that. All right, so let me gank one of these little base plates here, or sandwich plates, or whatever the fuck it's called, reinforcement plate. Okay, time check, 5:24. We're good. Should be just fine. Replacing a couple screws, screwing the motors back on, and then I'll round up the kids and go pick up Maggie at the Atlanta airport. Excited for that. Took a shower today. Look at me. It's almost like I'm a real boy. I'm going to put this back together without the plate. So this is one of the builds that's coming. These are the 2.5-inch, 2.5 millimeter arms. This build here is going to be for 2-inch props. This is going to get the old trusty RCX 1304, 5000 kV. And then this is going to get the brilliant Gep RC 2.5. They're 4 2-inch propellers, but they are 2.5 inch in diameter prop guards. And this is going to be a Insta360 Go 2 carrier. So it'll be 2-inch propellers, prop guards, really cool prop guards, and yeah, we'll see what that kind of life is about. And I think I might even do an AIO on here to really try to keep the weight down. But then that AIO will certainly blow up, and I'll switch it out for a 20x20 stack. But I think on the first go around with this little guy, it's going to get an AIO, which yeah, that's all tied in with the fact that it's the V2 frame. The V2 frame is set up for the AIOs. The V2 frame is also good for carrying an Insta360 Go 2 because the top plate is not as cut out as on the V1. So yeah, this will be a cool little flip-flop to Bing Bong in the Wing Wong. Oh, Christ. Just make shit up. Just make shit up. We just be making shit up around these parts. Since I Nyogeled the shit out of the arms, I don't really need to do the sandwich plate here. One of the cool things about the Nyogel is it has like a little bit of stickiness to it. So you can just kind of stick this all together and it'll usually like kind of hold. Although of course, as soon as I go to do it on the stream, it's not going to cooperate. It's because this plate has not been pressed up against it. Once you drive these screws in, oh, you jerk! Once you drive these screws in, this becomes a lot. It like sticks everything together, kind of. Okay. So This is how the Nyogel gets everywhere, because you're putting it on arms, and the arms sit flat, and then it sits up against this and that and the other thing. Okay, so let's get a replacement screw going here. Although, what are these guys hanging out? These guys cool? They're a little bit shorter. But I did notice there was a shitload of thread engagement on those. I'm going to use these little guys. I'm going to use slightly shorter arm screws because there's a ton of thread engagement. So that guy's going to go over there. These guys are going to come on the scene here. Okay. No, that's not enough. I don't think that's quite enough. Yeah, no, I'm not playing that game. I'm not playing that game. I hate playing this game of using screws that go into standoffs that are ever so slightly too short, and then they rip the threads right out of the bottom of the standoff when you're trying to crank them really tight. That really pisses me off when that happens. So I try to avoid that at all costs. Okay, so what are these guys? Are these guys... That's M3x9. This is M3x10. Okay, so these little guys are M3x10, so I can just put these away. These are the same ones, right? I want an M3x12. Okay, yeah, so 2 titanium M3x10s are going away, and now I'm going to replace one of the by 12s. That's what that is, right? Yep, that's a by 12. This is one of the cloudy ones, though. Let's replace it with its same kind. Yeah, that's it. All right, cool. You good? And drop one of those guys in there. Another one over here. Take this good arm. Put it here. Okay. Come on. There we go. Doing this in an admittedly strange way, but just whatever. There we go. Okay. So, doing this in the weirdest way. But sometimes it's hard to get like the arms to act right. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to act right. Everybody wants to act the fool. There we go. We're good. Put the arms on backwards though, but that's fine. The TPU things are backwards, but that's okay. Just pop them off. Swap them. There we go! Okay, we're back together. Right Knight says, I do prefer mud and or grass over Nyogel. Well, I mean, if you really want a lot of mud and grass, just put Nyogel on. It'll just attract all the mud and grass in the world. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. It is sticky stuff. Everything gets... Your arms will never be as dirty as they are after you've put Nyogel on them. It's kind of wild. All right, and fuck. This is the hardest part of this, is getting these M2 screws through these little TPU guys. It just wants to spit them out. Although, I think I just got it. There it goes. Nope. It won't. It doesn't want to go through the hole. Too good for your home. Answer me. All right. There it is. One screw loose. The motor survived this hit, by the way. The arm broke and the motor survived, which is just... And it's almost like I've done this before. So yeah, this little repair is a lot less expensive than having to swap out one of these Axis 1404 motors. This is a rig where I do have the race wire on it, so it would have been a pretty easy motor swap. But these are like $15 motors versus arms that are not $15. So I'll take it every time. I love when the arm breaks and saves the motor. And it happens a lot. There we go. That's what it's going to look like once I have the rest of the screws in there. Cool. I think I'm going to shut this down. My voice is kind of going. McConnell Studio says best KV on Xnova 1804 is 3500 for sure. For 3.5 4-inch props, 4S or 6S, 21, 30, 24, 31, 3500. Yeah, 3500 is not a high enough KV that that you need to like worry about it being too high and worry about getting the lower KVs. 3500 is actually kind of low. I wish that they offered those in higher KV. I wish they had like a 4000 KV variant, but yeah, 3500, and then on micros, 6S makes there's no benefits from 6S, just problems. So 4S, 3500, and you're just going to look for pitchy props. If you're going to run these titanium M3 screws, be aware they strip out like a motherfucker. The heads strip out, so make sure you use a really good quality driver that fits as tight as possible, and just understand that you're never going to be able to like really crank them down without stripping the little button heads out. Well, there we go. We good. Check this back one, make sure it's still tight. I'm actually really excited to fly this tomorrow probably. I'll get this thing back up in the air and keep seeing how it is. These 2.5-inch propellers, I'm pretty sure they're just not pitchy enough. Maybe if we could find a 1404 that was like 5,000 kV, that would probably work better. But I don't know of any. I'm very tempted, and I probably will at some point try the old school RCX 1304 5000s on this build. There is a chance that they might have just enough. It definitely won't work with a 4S 850 though. I would drop that setup down to a 4S 700 or 650, and that would be much more in the ballpark. I would actually love it if I could get that working, because those motors are hysterically durable. And these propellers are hysterically durable. These are actually my favorite of the 2.5-inch propellers. So that would be a really cool setup. I think the problem is going to be that it's going to be too light, and I'm going to lose the throw. But I don't know. I'll almost certainly try that out, because this is on the race wires, which makes swapping motors out super simple. And I think I even have a set or two of those that are cut nice and short that I can put on here. I do need to. I did make a mistake when I was putting these race wires on. One of the wires from the ESC to the race wire is a little too short, and it's kind of fucking annoying if I'm really honest. I made that mistake on 3 out of the 4 arms. It's a really dumb mistake to make. Like that's a mistake I've made a bunch, actually. It's just super annoying. But yeah. All right, now I'm talking about soft motor mount pads. I actually don't like those. I do not like soft mounting motors. I think it causes, I could be wrong, but I think it causes more problems than it solves. Somebody recently was talking about how they put Nyogel on, and they noticed from like a tuning fork perspective a big difference with versus without Nyogel. We're going to do that in a second. We're going to actually, so now. All right, I have one of these Rip Squeaks that does not have Nyogel on it, and we're going to do that same little thing I just did in front of the microphone real quick, and you guys will be able to hear the difference, I'll bet you. Oh, I'm hungry. We're talking about grabbing some food, though, on the way back from Atlanta, so I should probably not eat. All right. 3 screws. There's only 2 in the other. Let's fix that up. And then we'll be good to go. All right. "661 says Nyogel is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." I mean, it works. Like, there's a bunch of data showing that it works, so I don't know why it's being called dumb. There are many black box logs showing that it absolutely does work. It might seem dumb. I can totally understand someone thinking that it's dumb. But yeah, it is definitely not. All right, so I think it's this rig back here that that doesn't have it on there. All right, listen. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one that doesn't have it. So this rig does not have Nyogel. Listen to this. Ready? I'm gonna try to like isolate it by just hanging it. All right. So that's a frequency that this thing is gonna vibrate at. So at that frequency, we're gonna have to use processor power to filter that out, right? And it's just, if you can have less harmonics of filters, it's a good thing. Well, this isn't a fair test because these are different arms, but so this is at a higher frequency because these arms are a little bit shorter on here. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, the arms are a little bit shorter on here. Look at the difference in the arm ends. The yellow versus, or the red versus the purple. Right, and then look at the bottom. But it's just not as... It's hard for you guys because you're not holding the frame, but I can feel how long that sound rings out. And it rings out noticeably less in this one with the Nyogel than that one. It's not a fair comparison because they're different arms. This is a higher frequency, and the higher frequencies will not stick around as long. So this isn't really a fair test, but yeah, there's a ton of black box logs that show that Nyogel does a little bit. It's not like God's gift to everything. It's a subtle thing, but it does do something, and why not use it? Like, who cares? Ooh, it's messy. Ooh, fucking really? Who cares if it's messy? So there we go. 2.5-inch Rip Squeak is back, and if I don't know, I have a feeling that I'm gonna end up putting this on the 2.5-inch arms to further get the weight down, because this did just gain a little bit of weight. It's now got the... This is actually a little bit of an awkward setup right now because it's got 3.2 millimeter thick arms in the front and 2.5 millimeter thick arms in the rear. That setup kind of makes sense because we crash hard in the front usually. So if the front arms are stronger, that kind of makes sense. The problem with this setup right now, though, is that the different thickness arms are going to resonate at slightly different frequencies. So we just added an additional frequency on this. So I doubt that it'll make a difference, but technically speaking, we would want to like add another dynamic notch filter. So if I only had one dynamic notch filter on this, and now all of a sudden it starts flying like ass, adding a second dynamic notch filter would probably fix that issue. I doubt that we'll have a problem, but yeah, just for conversation's sake. Gotta go, friends. Love ya. Here's... I deleted it. I was about to say, here's some flight footage from this exact rig, but it's now gone. Here's the Florida edit. Go watch it in 4K. You're gonna love it. Turn it up really loud. The song is awesome. Be good, friends. I'm gonna put copyright-free music over it, though. Be good, friends. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We'll do some giveaways. We'll give some things away. It's gonna be a big one. Bunch of Weebleed FPV stuff. Bunch of good stuff. But here's the visuals of the Florida edit. Be good. Bye bye. Love you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. AI filters could fix that. Oh God, kill yourself. AI filters. Later, friends.